Good morning. It's press review, a time when we take a look at what the papers say, and then, of course, we also take a look at what's on our website, the ABS website, and we have a guest that will also help us in analyzing some issues that will crop up from the papers. Well, here with me this morning is a public affairs analyst, Imandi Ezenago. Imandi, how are you?
I'm fine. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, you look positive. That means you're expecting positive things to happen to you this morning and those who are around you. Yeah, and that will include me.
Yeah, of course.
So welcome to the program Press Review.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's quickly go to ABS website and see the stories there. First story, we have Anambra State Assembly approves 2026 to 2028 medium-term expenditure framework, MTEF. Court sentences IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu to life imprisonment. Anambra Deputy Governor Ibezim celebrates birthday, restates commitment to selfless service. Value Hands Inclusive Hub presents a word of appreciation to ABS MD Moloku. Tailoring Garment Industrial Market in Kwele, Zunaka and Obunike to be completed February next year. 2025 CAF Awards Gala, Nigeria shines. 2025 CAF Awards Gala, Nigeria shines. Forced displacement of Palestinians, Human Rights Watch fingers Israel for war crimes. Well, these are the stories that we have on ABS website, so you can as well go and read more of it. But before then, Imandi, let's talk about, the quickness in approving the 2026 to 2028 MTEF framework by the State Assembly. Sometimes budgets are not passed well on time, and sometimes when they are passed, because of delays at the State Assembly or National Assembly level, and this one is just coming up at in December. What do you think about the quickness of passing this MTEF? And it has a long-term or lifespan of 3 years, 2 years, yeah. That's 2026, 2028. Yeah. So what's your thought about the quick passage?
I will first of all want to appreciate this Assembly on their proactive measures in so many affairs of the state. Now, coming to this, under the leadership of Right Honorable Somto Udeze, the Speaker of the Assembly, Anambra State House of Assembly, things changed in the sense that there are quick passage of motions, bills, and then the implementation. I believe that this 8th Assembly in the history of Anambra State House of Assembly has the highest bills signed by the executive. Okay. So this is a welcome development, and for this MTEF to come up at this time, although it has been quite long expected to be passed, to happen, but there are some, it has to be scrutinized and then undergo first reading, second reading, third reading before it can be passed, and then they debate on that. And it's not something that you just wake up one morning, present it, and then pass it. It has to go to debate, and then sometimes, not even sometimes, after the first reading and second reading, it has to go through the through another stage, which is called the public hearing, where the public are meant to come, give in their contribution, bring in their ideas. Then, when bringing in their ideas, these legislators will look at it and say, yes, we never thought of this. That's why the essence of this public hearing. Because this bill or this motion or whatever thing is being presented to the public, is being implemented for the sake of the public. That there is need for this public, which will help them to, to say, no, if you do this way, it will affect us more this way. And if this is not added, this is where it will affect us. Now, the legislators, it's left for them to, you know, defend in the sense by saying, no, if we don't do it this way, there are some penalties and all that. Then that is where, and in this public hearing, everybody is invited, whether religious leaders, traditional leaders, youths, as the case may be. So I believe that MTEF, once its implementation starts from next year, 2026, it will bring a positive development to Anambra, not just Anambra, to the state at large, and to residents, and I believe that other states will also join suit in this.
Well, just one thing before we leave that story, you know, it was expected that the House of Assembly must have publicized, you know, probably dates for public hearings on this MTEF, but I didn't see it. Probably it was there, but I know that there was a time, you know, in the very far past when you hear on radio public hearings are going to be held, civil societies, representatives of the communities should come. But I never heard about this. Do you think don't you think it's necessary, and what advice will you give to the House of Assembly members on future,
okay,
you know,
on that
interactions
on that aspect of public,
public hearing?
You know, it is very, very important. In fact, in the passage of law or implementation or whatever thing, public hearing is the third stage before the final reading and implementation. So most times, I could remember that the last bill passed on Igba Boy of the Anambra State House of Assembly.
By Honorable Okechukwu.
Yes, there was public hearing. So if at the end of the day that there is bridge in that aspect of public hearing, I believe that apart from the speaker, the person, the chairman in charge of in charge of media and publicity of the House of Assembly should be held, yes, responsible for that. You understand? Or maybe, you know, due to how the situation may look like, they may decide not to, okay, let us not publicize it. Let us just write to these organizations and let them send in their representative, maybe to curb population on the number of people needed, because most times if you publicize it, people will troop in.
Crowded.
Yes.
Okay. Probably will engage Honorable Okechukwu on this and see, you know, what he will prefer. Thanks for your contributions. But before we leave ABS website, this story, okay, maybe we'll meet the story in other.
Yeah, definitely
yes, we'll meet it in other papers. So let's quickly go over to the daily newspapers that we have here, starting with the Sun newspapers. Here in the Sun, we have these screaming headlines: family group kick as Nnamdi Kanu gets life imprisonment. It has the riders convicted on all 7 counts will appeal judgment, says legal consultant. And then we have this on Southeast expected the sentencing, says Abaribe. And then all hope not lost, reps deputy speaker. And then when we go up there at the masthead, we'll have insecurity. Senate vows to restore normalcy in Southeast. Leaders demand end to open grazing. Kwara short schools and 5 LGAs over bandits attacks. Afanifere expresses shock over terrorist attack. And going down, we have some other headlines like 2 in 3 Nigerian children live in multidimensional poverty, says UNICEF. Nigeria really disgraced nation, overwhelmed by insecurity, says P2B. Has the rider Tinubu mesmerized by challenges, says ADC. And then schoolgirls abduction. Tinubu orders Matawele to relocate to Kebbi. APC governors seek urgent rescue. And moves by international actors, interest groups to label Nigeria a country of religious intolerance. Troubling, says the federal government. That's from the Sun. We'll move over to Delhi, to the Punch, where we also have the screaming headline: Southeast leaders rally for political solution. That is on live jail for Kanu. It has the rider Kanu to appeal judgment. Igbo elite to meet Tinubu how Kano sparked courtroom chaos before life sentence. And then alleged genocide. U.S. Congress split over Nigeria's CPC designation. That's country of particular interest designation. Obafemi Awolowo's grandson, Shigu, dies at 62. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And we have this on, it says, Lagos raises 244.8 billion naira bond to fund infrastructure. Okay, so these are the things we have here. Okay, we have another one. Heavy ransom. Bandits demand 3 billion naira to free Kwara church goers. Let's quickly go to the Nnamdi Kanu case, where we have this one: Southeast leaders rally for political solution, and that's on the Punch. And then on Daily Sun, we have family group kick as Nnamdi Kanu gets life imprisonment. What's your... In fact, yesterday I was meant to discuss this on TV this morning, but I made calls to about 10 persons. All of them declined commenting on this. Probably, I just believe that, after the shock, people might come and talk and all this. So what's your thought on what happened yesterday?
To me, I see a biased judgment on Nnamdi Kanu, not just to Nnamdi Kanu, to the Southeast at large. And they may feel that they are doing justice without knowing that there are implications this judgment will cause in Southeast. Only his arrest in the past few years, we've seen how the Southeast has been in jeopardy of different kinds of insecurity or the other. Now, coming to that, I don't see why this judgment will come up again when the High Court, under the administration of Muhammad Buhari, declared Nnamdi Kanu innocent. He was discharged and acquitted, and still the DSS detained him. They went to appeal court. Appeal court discharged him, and he was also acquitted. They still held him. Now they brought him back to court again, this time around. And then we couldn't explain the transaction that went through, and now he was given life imprisonment. That was yesterday. We are talking about this. Nnamdi Kanu is not a terrorist. What do you have to talk?
But they have already, I was following him on, on live broadcasts.
Yes.
I was following his live broadcasts. And, initially, these things were not brought in until they had to readjust, the accusations against him. And they had evidence, pieces of evidence. People came and testified as to things that happened in the Southeast, things they said on radio, these things. And now you're saying that he's not a terrorist when the judge has said he's a terrorist. Do you think, in fact, a lot of people, Igbo people, you go on social media, a lot of people, Igbo people were condemning him, and what the things he said on radio, which actually they said influenced the actions of young people in the Southeast, and a lot of people have died because of these people, that have in the past beheaded people, killed people, maimed people, and even accused of eating human flesh, cooking with human flesh. Do you think going for appeal will help? Remove this sentence on Nnamdi Kanu? People have said he can only win based on technical terms, technicalities. Do you think he can even win?
Coming to his live broadcast, he never encouraged violence. One thing is that you can't beat a child and tell that child not to cry. All these things started with marginalization of the people of the Southeast. That's the bone of contention. That was where it started. There is marginalization. And Nnamdi Kanu is against that, or rather was against that, and is still against that. So that was when he started speaking speaking against the federal government on their marginalization of the people of the Southeast. That was what happened. And now, the problem also grew was when he was arrested. You know, Nnamdi Kanu has been talking, let's say, a little right from the time of Obasanjo. Nobody gave him that attention. Nobody knew him. But once the administration of Muhammadu Buhari arrested him, many people knew him. Just like I know that most times I listen to, or should I, not that I consciously listen to Nnamdi Kanu. I know that maybe in a public bus or in public, you just hear someone talking against how the federal government are cheating on the Southeast, not giving the federal character, not having effect on the Southeasterners and the rest of that. Now, immediately he was arrested, he became popular. People knew him. Now, he already had followers as at that time. Now, his followers started looking for a way to get him freed. And many...
And was it, looking for a way to get him freed, the best option was it to kill their brothers?
They were not... I wouldn't say that.
Do you think it was actually Nnamdi Kanu's influence that made these people kill their brothers in the South?
I wouldn't say that it was it was his influence that caused that. Let me say, you know, at a point when this insecurity was happening, Operation Python Dance was launched in the Southeast. That was in 2017, 2018. It was launched, and then it became effective. And you know that when they came for this curb against the insecurity in the Southeast, they never knew this military, or should I say the troop, don't want to know if this person is innocent or not. They were killing people, arresting innocent people, and it grew worse. Now, if you are paying more attention to that, what do you have to say in other parts of the country where bandits come with their convoys, they come with their guns for negotiation? What do you have to say? That is the same marginalization
people
going
are saying
on.
That you shouldn't equate the bandits negotiating with governments with what Nnamdi Kanu's case. That's what people are saying.
That's what the government invited them for the negotiation. The best thing to do is also invite Nnamdi Kanu for negotiation, because he is not, because you cannot, because most of these people are harmless people. They don't have any weapon. It's just like, let's say, what they normally say, May 30th, they call it Biafra Day, when we know that you see people march on the street without any arm, no weapon, not even knife or anything. And at the end of the day, you get them arrested, and you persecute them for causing violence on the street and the rest. When these people are harmless, they are not with any weapon. So you see, the case of Nnamdi Kanu is not, to me, is justice delayed and justice denied, because the same Federal High Court that discharged and acquitted him has given him the sentence. So that is where we cannot place where they have to contradict.
People are seeing this as a political gimmick.
That is the thing.
One, they said Nnamdi should first say he's guilty, and then he could be given a state pardon. And then secondly, some people are saying that it could be a political gimmick, which APC will want to use during the 2027 election. What are your thoughts about this?
For now, we cannot predict. I cannot
You're
predict.
So sure what happened yesterday?
Very, because I never saw that
people
coming.
Said they expected it. Some people said they
expected I never saw that. When I expected it was during the time of late Muhammadu Buhari. Okay. That was when I expected it. I was even shocked when the Federal High Court ruled out all the count charges against him. Now say that this young man is innocent, discharged and acquitted. Yes. Now, the federal government, they were not satisfied. They went to appeal. Appeal court said the same thing. And you know, at that time, we were having judicial corruption, where the federal government has taken over the judicial system of Nigerian government. So that was when I expected that. And for it to come now, as in it is a big shocker to me. But all the same, let's...
What are you preferring? People have said, like in Anambra, said they expected this, and then we also heard that Southeast leaders are running for political solution to this problem.
Enyinia Abaribe has always been there for him. Even the late Mbazolike, when he was alive. These were the people that, when he was first arrested, these were the people that were telling the federal government, hand us Nnamdi Kanu. Anytime you need him, we can present him, including the executive governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, made the same comment. You see, people...
He even told them to hand him over to him.
Yes. So anytime you need, we can present it. That is to show you that Nnamdi Kanu, he is not, he's neither a bandit, nor a terrorist. He's just like a normal Nigerian fighting for the freedom of his people. You understand? Freedom is not all about shouting one Nigeria, one Nigeria. Freedom is all about that federal character. What are the things that are supposed to be given to the people of the South is that's not being given to them.
Okay.
What of Ibori? Did we hear anything about him again? And what and locks and the likes of other people? So you see, I believe that Nnamdi Kanu refused to get corrupt to the system. That was why the judgment had to turn out this way. Maybe he has been presented with one or two options and he has refused. So I believe that he decided to be upright and decided to stand firm on what he has stood on from the beginning.
Okay, we could talk more and more about this. We are only looking for solutions, and it should perform the major part of our discussions from now on. Now let's quickly go over to Vanguard. Vanguard still talking about, I think we'll be skipping that of Nnamdi Kanu because it's all over the place. That's the news now. Okay, so on Vanguard we have national interest, Anya Aganga Akonde, others chart way forward for Nigeria. And going down, we have, okay, up at the masthead, we have US Congress highlights alleged Christian genocide in Nigeria. It says Nigeria's entrepreneurship index rises to 0.47 points, and that's from a report. As Congressman Riley meets Ribadu, security chiefs in Washington, U.S. Congress highlights alleged Christian genocide in Nigeria. And a recruit church attack, pattern of targeted violence now clear. As if supporting what they are going to do with the congressman today. Okay, I think these are the few headlines we have here. Except, okay, Atta responsible for Akwa Ibom's increased allocation, says Jonathan. What else do we have there? Lagos raises, okay, we've seen this before. Okay, let's quickly go over to the next paper, which is this day newspapers. There we have major win for Nest Oil as court lifts asset freeze in alleged $1 billion debt dispute. Nnamdi Kanu's terrorism trial ends after 10 years, bags life imprisonment. Okay, these are the things we have there. Let's go to Nation newspapers. And on Nation, we have fireworks in U.S. Congress over Nigeria's insecurity. Lawmakers split on religious labeling of insurgency. Tinubu sends Matawali to Kebbi, 900 troops in Kwara. DSS files terrorism charges against 9 IPOB commanders linked to Simon Ekpa. Awolowo's grandson Olusegun dies at 66. Okay, now let's quickly take a look at the command given to Matawale by President Tinubu and some other 900 troops to in Kwara to move over to Kebbi. What's your thought about that? Is it going to solve our problem? Knowing what the recent story you have about the major brigadier who died while trying to rescue, and then there's another assistant police commissioner who also died in trying to rescue this, and people have actually castigated the federal government about not seeing these as big losses for the country, not even talking about those who have been killed and all this. Do you think this should be the way forward?
First of all, this is it is not first it is not sending 900 troops and the Matawale and the rest of them. Is not.
What would the governor be doing there?
Is not what we have to celebrate, because this insecurity is long overdue. As I always say, that whenever there is insecurity in this country, people decide to blame the federal government, point accusing fingers on the federal government, forgetting the fact that in that particular place, that it is first a community under a local government under a state. Now, what efforts has the local government chairman or the local police force in that particular community done to curb this insecurity?
Okay, hold it on.
And what effort has the governor done to ensure that? You see, you must have put in your effort.
Okay, can we hold it on, at this, when we come back, we'll talk about these questions you've asked, so that we'll be able to go and take a short break for some commercial messages. We'll be right back. Come back to the rest of Press Review. Before we left, Imandi Ezenago, our guest this morning, asked some questions about the insecurity that is ravaging Kebbi State.
Yes. You see, it is not what we have to celebrate now. First of all, there is a community where this insecurity is happening, or there are communities where they are happening. And these communities are under a local government under a state. Now, what efforts has the governor of the state, which is the chief security of that state, what efforts has that governor done to ensure the safety, protection of lives and properties of the state and the community members? Now, if the local government chairman has done his part, the governor has done his part too, and the insecurity keeps ravaging, that is the time they can now call on the federal government for help. You see, but before you call on the federal government, what effort have you done as a state governor? What effort have you done as local government chairman to ensure that there is security of lives and properties in your community, in your local government, in your state, before you now decide to put accusing fingers on the federal government that they are not doing that part?
Can we merge this with something I saw on Guardian? It says U.S. lawmakers question Nigeria's will capacity to curb violence. As if the lawmakers are supporting what you're saying here.
So yeah, that is the truth. That is the truth, because even as the governor, when you are taking your oath in office, that is the primary responsibility of the executive. So before the federal government will be blamed for insecurity in Nigeria, let us hold our governors responsible first on that.
Yes.
So we should have seen their impact, even to the extent that even those that are in IDP camps are no longer safe as well. Now there are some communities where the indigenous are no longer living there. The people that have taken over the communities are now the bandits and terrorists. We saw the one that happened in Kwara, of a church service that is going on.
And it was on live stream.
And it was on live stream. What has the governor come out to do or to say about that? Nothing. We are still battling with what happened in Kebbi. About 25 girls, school children kidnapped, their vice principal killed in the process. We've not heard from them to condemn the act. So you see, the sending 900 troops is not what we have to celebrate, because this insecurity is long overdue. It has stayed for more than a decade. So we are not supposed to celebrate this. What we need to celebrate is that this has come. Yes, we know that it has come. Now we are fighting it, and at the end of the day, we've decided to fight them, get them arrested, and prosecute them. So we should not be biased in this. Or is it because it happened that Kebbi and Kwara are partly part of the Southwest. Is that why you have to like take action over that? What about states like Adamawa and the rest of them? What have you done concerning that? So it's not something. It is not what we have to like.
They need to go back to drawing board.
We have to celebrate. And apart from that, also the equipment every year it is captured in the budget of changing equipment, buying equipment.
So when do they buy those things? Do they really buy?
That is the question that you have to ask the generals. That is the question you have to ask them. Because at the end of the day, you see them complaining that even the weapons of these terrorists are
far more sophisticated.
Yes, than theirs. Now, what is it?
If you talk about Nigeria, we have a lot of things that you talk about and you got disillusioned. But this is our country. We have to stay here and make sure that we find solutions to that. God will keep us alive, we pray. When we go to Daily Trust, we have this health workers strike increases patronage of private hospitals. What's your thoughts?
That is another issue. In fact, in Nigeria, every sector, every ministry, every aspect, there are issues. In the agriculture, we have issues. In the oil sector, we have issues. In our educational sector, in fact,
educational sector, we also have where 50 schools have been closed, because of
insecurity. Even let's talk ASU are planning on an indefinite strike. You see, all this now the health sectors. You see, the reason why our leaders, our politicians are nonchalant is because they are not affected. Their children are not affected. Their family members are not affected. That's the reason why they are misbehaving, doing things the way they like. Now, how can you tell me that? How can you tell me that in a well-programmed or in a well-functioning country that health workers will go on strike when we know that health is life? That they will go on strike. Now, our educational sector will also maybe before 2-3 weeks we hear that ASU will be on indefinite strike also. Agriculture, we don't have food security.
These things, will they not ground the country?
Of course it is. But you see, as I earlier stated, it is not affecting our leaders. It's not affecting our politicians because they know that they can equally get international health care attention at their beck and call. They can book the next available flight to any country of their choice to relax and then get medical attention. They can equally sit in the comfort of their homes and get admission for their children abroad. Their children go abroad, study. Food insecurity is not even their care because food is being supplied. Oil, the power supply, power and electricity is a challenge in this country. They don't feel the heat because that is the reason why things are happening the way they are in this country. Okay. So if our leaders and our politicians will stand up and do the needful, do things on the purpose and on the reasons why they are being in that why they are sent to that public office. You see, Nigeria will be a better place that when you talk about Japa, nobody will have interest on this Japa.
Leaving the country.
Yes.
There's another story on Daily Trust. It says, violence in Nigeria affects Christians, Muslims, says the Pope. Do you think the Pope is right here? That violence in Nigeria affects Muslims, affects Christians?
Of course, it affects both religion, but
who's more on the receiving side?
Yes, is the people that are more on the receiving side are the Christians. You see, because Christians are predominantly in every state and their population is high as well. Okay. So you see, they are the ones that are mostly affected. And if you look at the states where these insecurity is being rampant in the country, it's mostly Christian states. You see, so the Christians are more on the receiving side.
Okay. Still, the last paper we're taking a look at, we'll just speak two things there and then still talk about one that concerns us about the church and kidnapping. First is WAEC shifts full CBT exam to 2027, rewards 18-year-old Osun State student who emerged WASE best overall nationwide. That's on Daily Tribune, not Daily Trust. Daily Tribune. And then the second story there is Kwara Church kidnappers demand 100 million naira ransom on each victim. Government orders school closure in 5 LGAs, and they said it's about 50 schools that have been closed in that local government area. What kind of life would that these local governments be living right now? Having 50 schools closed, and then having these terrorists demanding for 100 million naira. The way they mention amounts or sums that they want to be given to them, you keep wondering. These are people, probably if they are working, they may not be making up to 50,000 naira a month, as laborers and all this, and they are the ones talking tough about large sums of money. And sometimes you see them on video playing with those money, wearing who's this singer that did a birthday song about color, the rioting, rioting colors and all this. You don't even, you keep thinking, what do they do with this money? Except that people are now saying that they use the money to procure, arms and ammunition. Then who is their direct source of procurement? Because I'm sure many of them don't have that link to buy so sophisticated weapons. I saw one, that trended on social media. It started trending 2 days back. See the kind of sophisticated weapon that somebody who's on a bicycle, on a bike,
motorbike, yes,
was using to target people around him. And you wonder who. Does it mean that government has, like we have a story on DSS trying to who has sent some people to court on terrorism, people who are backing Simon Ekpa and all these. How did you find out about these people? Can't you find out about these people who make procurements on arms? Or is it a non-achieve, it's something we cannot never achieve?
If we want to get things right in this country, we have to first of all fix our educational system, because most of these things are illiteracy.
Most of them are illiterate.
Yes. Most of this, most of the problem of Nigeria is lack of education. If you go to well-developed countries where there is low rate of insecurity and the rest of that, you find out that these are countries rather that are well educated. So if you can be able to, if the government can capture the educational system, just like in KB now that about 50 schools must have closed down in some local government, what are the outcome of those children? What would they do? Would they go home, stay with their parents? And then why some parents may not be able to have that attention on their children, at the end of the day, the insecurity might increase in that particular state or in that particular local government. But when this education, you find out that when you go to school, you learn, you know things that are meant to be done, you know things that are right and things that are wrong, even though that you start learning from home. But education have a long way.
But now that we're dealing with people who have abhorrence for education, what do we have today? What to do? What is the stake of government here? This is a very big question that I think we'll answer in another day. Thank you very much, Emandi Ezenago, for coming to the show this morning. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you for having me. Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. Well, thanks for joining us. My name is Ifiu Nachukwu. See you in the next session.